Hey friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, back for another video. This is episode number, dear, do you know, 128. Lord have mercy, can't believe I've done 120. You know, I originally decided I would do this to show my stitching, but also, you know, kind of a reason behind that is the fact that, you know, someday I'll be gone and my kids and my grandkids, they will be able to watch these maybe and remember who I was. So anyway, I'm kind of going to get right to it because this is the Saturday before Easter. Easter's tomorrow. By the time you see this, Easter will be in the rear view mirror, but I just want to say I hope that you know the true reason of Easter was not about bunnies, but it was about the lamb. It was about God sending his son to on a rescue mission so that we might have a right relationship with God again. So I hope you find joy and true faith with those words. So anyway, I am going to try not to continually scratch my nose. Our pollen has been so bad here. And I think that's part of the reason my nose always, but sometimes when I watch part of the video back just to see what I was wearing or whatever, and it's like, Lord have mercy, Carol, you got a nose problem. Anyway, what have I been stitching? Well, if you've watched me before, you know that, or watched me since the first of the year, I dedicated January and February to stitching Blackbird, and yeah, February. I can spell some things. Anyway, I spent January and February concentrating on Blackbird, specifically whips, and I did have some finishes. And then March and April, I have been working on With Thy Needle and Thread. So everything I show you today is going to be by With Thy Needle and Thread, aka Brenda Gervais. Some people say Brenda Gervais instead of With Thy Needle and Thread. Her company is With Thy Needle and Thread. Her name is Brenda Gervais, also coined by Teresa Vanette Kitten Stitcher as Brenda G. So anyway, that's what I'm going to go through. I did have a couple finishes that I will show you. I also fully finished a few that came out horrible, but you know, I finished my own. So it's just for me, and you know, I don't pay anybody to do it. I can sew. I'm not a fan of fully finishing. What the heck is this? Okay. Anyway, I'm not a fan of fully finishing because it's fiddly. I've never been one to do a lot of fiddly stuff like, I mean, I've made a few project bags, but not like bags. And, you know, I did enough garment sewing in my lifetime that has all the fiddly I needed. So anyway, what have I been stitching? So let me just show you a few things that I had up here first. And then I did not get out all the patterns. I'm sorry. If you really want to know, I can certainly look them up, and you can just leave a comment I try to answer all the comments, or at least put a heart. I think I had over 700 comments, so I do it in spurts. And sometimes I'll do the most recent, and then by the time I get to the ones that are 2 or 3 weeks old, you probably think, what the heck is this message from this lady? Anyway, that's what it is. So since tomorrow's Easter, or Easter's in the past for you, the first one I'll show you is from the Jelly Bean Jubilee book. There's actually 7 patterns in this book. It's very worth it. I started this one. I didn't even bring it out. It's really small. It's the one with the 2 bunnies and the little cart that they're pulling. Let's see if I can show you a close-up here. And I have the bunnies about done. I could finish it easily. I just haven't done it yet. So, but the one from that I finished last year is Easter. Love this piece. Okay, the next thing. This is Rabbit in the Rose. Again, one I finished and fully finished last year. Has the whisper for the tail. It came out okay. I guess I need to fluff it a little bit. Rabbit in the Rose. These are all by With Thy Needle and Thread, so I'm not going to keep saying that. This is Spring from the Seasons of the Heart book. I'd like to eventually do all of these. That's what I have on the back. I fill with sawdust. Okay, now I can't remember this one, but this is the one with the 2 rabbits, and there's another one that has 2 robins that I would like to do also. This one has like a little pink. It's kind of peachy, actually. Kind of matches his shirt. Again, if you need to know, I can always look it up. This one I finished a long time ago and did it as a stand-up. Just a cute little print on the back. I try to use small prints that fit the scale of the piece. I mean, who doesn't need a bunny on a chicken or a duck? It's one or the other. I think it's a duck. Feet look like a duck. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. This one, I think, is called Bloom Where You're Planted. I did this a few years ago. Again, finished with a small print on the back. Very fun. I love I think it's a hummingbird. I don't know. This one was one of the ones I just fully finished recently. I did have the pattern out for this one. It's called Tulip Festival. And here this is. I put a little red check on the back. Sometimes little red checks, they'll appear pink. So they'll pick up the red, but then they also kind of look like pink. And then I just did a rickrack by, this is Lady Dot, I believe. I don't sew my rickrack or my trims. I just glue them on with Aleene's tacky glue. I have done a few that are ruched, and ruche is like, you'll see like ribbon that's kind of like loops. I have done that, and I do sew that. That's why I don't do very many of those. Anyway, Tulip Festival. This is a bunny I made years ago. We used to do a lot of craft shows. I mean, who doesn't need a bunny on wheels, you know? Wooden. This is what I fully finished that I'm not very happy with. I'm not going to show you up close because... And this is the... it comes in 2 color waves. You also get it with the sampler fabric. Okay, so the sampler fabric ones I filled with fiber fill because I really struggled with the sawdust. My lines were really good on my sewing, but when you go to stitch them, and I clipped, I did everything I should do to get them so they would be nice and not have any bumps, but they still have a few bumps. And this one I did the seam on the side, which was really stupid because that shows. The next one I was smart enough to do the seam on the bottom to turn it. So they have to sit like this. So you can't see the bad seam on the pinkish one. Okay, look quickly because they're going to go away. Okay. And I just have them in this little basket with raffia, with that little bunny with them. And that pattern was Samplings number 1, which was the pink. And at the time I got it, it came with the linen that's the sampler fabric. The problem with that linen is it's very, very loosely woven and ravels really terrible. So if you cut a 1/4 inch seam allowance you're opening up yourself to a lot of raveling. And then this one, see, here's my perfect template. And this is samplings number 2. She does provide a pattern for the template. However, you have to stitch it with the called for size linen or the template wouldn't work. So anyway, samplings 1 and 2. Number 2 was the bluish one, and number 1, oops, was the pinkish one. So those are some of the fully finishes that I have up here. The rest of these are, oh, this one is April wordplay. I don't have all the wordplays done, but I would love to. I think I have like 4. I don't know. I need to get on it. But just like everything else, you know, a million things that you want to stitch. So that was April wordplay. And then I'm going to show you a few more things that I've been working on. And then I will show you a few things that I received. And then I will do my tentative May plans. So anyway, so the next, okay, first of all, last week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I went to a local retreat. It started out a few years ago to be our anniversary. Oh, there I am with my nose.
It is in the middle of your face.
You can drink every time I scratch or itch my nose. Anyway, it is in the middle of my face. You're correct here. Although technically, is it in the middle? I think technically your eyes, because little kids always draw the eyes way at the top, but technically your eyes are about halfway down your head. But you brought it up, dear, so I'm just commenting. Anyway, now I forgot where I was. Oh, the retreat. So our group has been together about 15 years, I think, 14 or 15 years. The gal that started it used to work at the local cross-stitch store, and her and a gal that came in to shop decided to start a stitching group. And so it's grown, but it was always held at her name's Ruth, to be clear. It always was at her house, and so it was kind of limited because obviously if you're having a stitching group at somebody's house, you can't, overflow her house with 50 people. So anyway, then a couple of years went by, we decided to start celebrating the anniversary of when our group first started, which I think was either March or April. I didn't join. This is a lot of extra information, so you can fast forward if you want. Anyway, long story short, now we do a bigger retreat, and there's a lot of other people that were invited, and not as many of our regular stitching group came, but I was there all 3 days because my friend Tara, Sully Stitches, hopefully you're watching her on FlossTube. She's a phenomenal stitcher and very inspirational. Anyway, she came from South Carolina for the retreat. So we spent a lot of time together. I took her to my favorite Mexican restaurant. We just sat there for hours and talked. And so it was wonderful to be able to spend that much time with Tara. I kept calling her Tara because that's my daughter-in-law's name. So sorry, Tara. I know you're Tara. Anyway, so she was stitching on a piece from this grand old flag. Now, she said she had done this one and this one last year, and so she was doing the third one. I was like, oh, I have that kitted, So after the retreat was over, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so after she went back on Saturday afternoon, she drove home. So after that, on Saturday, I thought, well, I'm going to get that out, because mostly what I'm going to show you today are samplers that are with Dye Needle and Thread that I've been working on. But I thought, well, I'm going to get that out. So I got that out, and I finished it. I started Saturday night, and I finished it on Sunday. This was a kit from Country Sampler, came with the backing fabric and the rickrack. The name of it, if I didn't say, is Grand Old Flag. It has the 3 pieces. The flag by far has the most stitching. So I'm a firm believer in if somebody brings me 3 quilts, I will always do the biggest one first and leave the smallest for the end. So instead of building up to doing more, I'm on my way doing less. So that's why I decided to start with this one. This is the most stitching. Get this one done, and then you're motivated to get the other 2 done. That's my philosophy in life, in case you ever wondered. So then, so that was Saturday, part of Sunday, and then I started this one and finished it. So that's fun. The middle, this piece here is a DMC, and it doesn't show up a lot, but it shows up enough. And then I did this one, which I haven't even trimmed. So now I have all 3 of them finished. I actually had thoughts of fully finishing them, but I spent all day, well, not all day, but big part of yesterday just doing the fully finishing on those. Because altogether there's 6 of these eggs, including the 2 stitched ones and then the 4 sampler ones, and I fully finished this. So by the time I was done with all that, I was like, okay, enough stuffing, because I do use sawdust for the most part, and it's messy. Anyway, I'm not going to complain. At least I get sawdust from the garage from my husband, so I don't have to. Which, by the way, that last sawdust you brought me, it was kind of crunchy. What was that from? What kind of wood? Was that from the pizza cutter you made?
It wasn't because of the wood. It was because it came from turning something on the lathe.
Oh, okay. Came from the lathe. So anyway, so those are some of the small, well, no, I have one more. So again, Sully stitches. You're killing me, Tara. Just killing me. Years ago, when I first met her at Amana, I nicknamed her Trouble. I said, Tara, you're Trouble. She's like, what, me? I'm like, yeah, you're Trouble. She's living up to her name. She's living up to her name. So anyway, a couple flusters ago, she showed her whole set of these. This is the Schoolhouse series, came out by Brenda Gervais, oh gosh, years ago. Let's see, when did this come out? 2017, that was going to be my guess. Sorry I didn't take this one on the plastic. This was the first one. Now these are done on 28 count Lugana in the color Mushroom. So she showed all of hers. Well, years ago I did the first one. These are all 1/1 on 28 count Lugana, which is an even weave. 1/1 is actually easier on an even weave because on linen you're going to have thick and sometimes thick and thin. And so then your X's can get kind of goofed up. But on an even weave, they're all even. The name kind of suggests that. So that was the first one. And then I basically said, whew, I need a break from doing that. So when she showed these a few weeks ago, Tara, I'm going to have to give you a commission of this floss too. Because so much of it was inspired by you. If you're not watching Sully Stitches, you need to be. So anyway, the next 2 in the series, because if you notice, this one has the alphabet through H. No, through G. So that one I did a long time ago. So then I decided, well, let me at least get started on the girl who is HIJK. And this very bottom here is satin stitched. And then you have this continuing theme. These are strawberries. This one has like flowers. So I just set myself to working on it and I finished one of them. Okay, you can applaud. So I got the girl finished and I actually enjoyed it. Don't tell anyone, okay? Don't tell anyone. It's our little secret. 1/1, 28 count is really not that traumatic. However, I do use a hoop, and I use a small wooden hoop. A lot of people use a wooden hoop for their regular cross stitch. I know Brenda does, different people do, but I don't normally use a hoop, but I did on these because it spreads your holes out a little bit more so that it's easier to do the 1/1. By 1/1, I mean one strand of floss over one thread. Think of a tic-tac-toe over one thread. So I now want to do the boy, MNOP. And he's very similar to the girl. I mean, they have the same outer border thing, bottom border. So I may start on him at some point because I want to have the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle finished. What did I do with the pattern? This is all of them. So there's a little horn book. I originally got this as a kit from, I think, Annie B's back in 2017. There's a horn book. There's a little strawberry. And then you have the 5 sampler pieces. It is still available. You can get this on Brenda's website, which is countrystitchesonline.com. I've shared that a lot. And this one is in a bag that was given to me by Katie So Tattered. So I now am ready to start the boy. And I have plenty of mushroom Lugana. When I got it, I got a whole big piece. So, and it's kind of relaxing. Now, doing over one sheep on a 45 or 40 or 46 count, not the same. But anyway, a new outlook on life, I guess. Okay, the next thing that I did these in different order, so, I'm lucky that I have some finishes, let alone what order I did them in. So I showed this last time. This is Ode to Shakespeare. They're all by With Thy Needle and Thread, so which has the price tag right on top there. This is Ode to Shakespeare. I technically have not, well, I haven't fully finished it, but I also haven't finished the little verse that goes in the hoop. This is a quote from Shakespeare about a woman who lost her tongue. And in order to communicate, she had to stitch it. So, beware, ladies. You stitch too much, people might think you can't talk. Anyway, so I talked about this last time. I have the box, batting. It's really all ready to be, and I have the extra linen for the bottom as well as for the little part in the hoop. But I did finish this, so it's all ready to be fully finished. I talked to you last time about going all the way with the little border so that when it matches up in the back, I think I've seen a couple other people that decide to do this too. So when it matches up in the back, I can talk about it, but I can't hold it. Anyway, the two will match up. That also keeps it from being out of line as far as the grain of the linen. So again, it's all done. It's done on the called for, which I think was, Lakeside 40 count exemplar. A lot of the Lakeside kind of have a pinkish hue, and you can kind of see the pinkish hue. So it really goes nicely with that. So I just need to fully finish it, which will take some time. I do have a huge amount of the ticking that goes on the inside. And there's different colors of ticking. Some have like a A little bit more of a white. This is more of a tan, but it matches the linen so well that it'll look good on the inside. So I want to finish that. You know, some of the stuff I did fully finish had to age for a whole year before I got to it. So, it's got to let it do its thing. That wasn't in a project bag. So, one of the next thing, again, Sully Stitches. This ought to be ode to Tara. On her birthday, April 6th, she started a daily reminder, which is a new chart from Market this year. A daily reminder. And it's done on this Cedar Ribbon Designs linen, arboreal. Mine is 40 count. And that's the start that I did on Tara's birthday, which was April 6th. So this was a couple weeks ago. The whole border is satin stitched, and then the alphabet, it's not huge, but then the alphabet is all Smyrna's. So it definitely has some specialty stitches. I really am loving this. Although I did have to use a magnifier, which I don't normally use, and did it in daylight because anytime you work on dark linen, it just is a little bit more challenging. And that is actually just part of the linen. It looks like there's some stitching there, but there's not. Almost looks like I missed a stitch, but I didn't. So anyway, that's where I am on that one. And this one is in a project bag that I made myself. A lot of people have given me these as scissor fobs, but I saw Sean Periwinkle Stitcher, she puts them on her project bags, and I thought, what a great idea. A little bit of jewelry for the project bags. Let's up our game a little bit here. If you're not watching Sean Periwinkle Stitcher, she's in Wales. You need to watch her because she's prolific in many different needlework. She knits, she does embroidery, she quilts, she walks, she talks. Sounds like a doll that they used to try to sell us in the 70s for, oh, there I am with my nose, sorry. Okay, I had a couple pieces that I specifically wanted to work on during this March and April, and they are some sampler whips that I have. Have I finished them? No. But I do have a little bit of time left in April, and I'm not going to stress. If I get something done, I get it done. If I don't, I don't. So it is what it is. But one of them is Manor at Quaker Hill. I started this when it first came out, but it was one of those, so many people were stitching it. I kind of was like, okay, well, not really interested in that. And this one, where's my project bag for this? Here, I was going to be so good and show you all my project bags. I don't know. Oh, no, I don't know where it is. Anyway, so here's the threads for this. I didn't show you a lot of the threads for the others because I put them away if it's done. Oh, wait, I lied. No, I didn't lie. Did I lie? No, this is Manor at Quaker Hill, yes. And I'm using one of, if you haven't bought any of Laurel, Stitch Nerd, she does these borrow cards. They're very cute. And then if you borrow from another project, one of the colors, you can write it on here. I do it in pencil, so I can then erase it and put it back. And the lettuce leaf I borrowed from a Christmas piece. Christmas, of course I can't read. That kind of defeats the purpose of writing down the project. Oh, Christmas something snowman. Green snowman. Christmas green snowman. Anyway, I'll figure it out. So she sells these little borrow markers in her And they have different pictures, so what a clever idea. So anyway, this one I worked on that hill at the bottom. I finished the swans in the lake or whatever. I have a little bit of the border done, and that's really all I've done on this one. I could cut it off at some point when I get all the way to the other side. This one is being done on Picture This Plus 40 count fawn. It says Faun. I think that's Faun. There is a fawn, I think, by Lakeside that's Fawn, but this is Faun. So that's all I got done is that little bit of, actually that's a lot of stitching. That hill to die on. So that's fun. Okay, I gotta figure out where I'm putting stuff here. Hold on. The next sampler that I wanted to touch was this one, which is an older Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread again, called Anne Sandals. I have seen this one finished, and it's really much prettier than the picture. It is an Adam and Eve. And I worked finishing all the flowers on the border. Started a little bit on the house, started a little on this tree, kind of jumped around. It's not huge, but it's going to be really pretty when it's done. I love these flowers. And here's the colors for that. Golds, reds, greens. Nothing really bright or anything. So I have that one in progress. And I don't know what I did with the project bag to that one either. I had them all. I thought I had them out. Anyway. Oh, that's in this one. This project bag by Buckleberry Quilts. This is the latest Buckleberry quilt bag that I received. She is so, so sweet. And you do have to jump on them quickly because they go quickly. Buckleberry Quilts bag. And with that, she gifted me a piece of linen, which was, I thought, so sweet. Thank you so much. And they support Nature Conservancy and St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. So feel free to order from Buckleberry Quilts. I like her bags because they're a little bit stiffer than a lot of bags. So anyway, show you a couple more and then I'm going to take a break. The other one that I have been working on is the at-home sampler. Michelle Cozy Egg has also been posting pictures of this one. I originally got this at a retreat because I have the box that goes with it. These are the threads. Kind of similar to Manor at Quaker Hill. It also has this color similar to that lettuce leaf, only these are these are some of the DMC that she included. With the box, we got floss tags. Very fun. And this is a project bag that was gifted to me at that same retreat. One of the gals at our table had made project bags for everyone. Then we could just pick whichever one we wanted. I originally picked one that was a sampler fabric, and then I traded with my friend Pam, who has been going through cancer treatment and is on her way to a full recovery. So congrats to you. Prayers answered, Pam. Pam Horner. So this is at home. I did finish the house because, I just like to do houses. I guess I was a brick mason in another life. The border flowers are gorgeous. So I've really hopped around a lot on this one. But the border's done and I can do that. I can hop around wherever. This one is done on, I think the original kit had vintage country mocha, and I switched it to Lakeside pecan butter, 36 count, at home. This is available now. I got it at a retreat, but it's available now. The next piece, the last sampler that I was working on, is Marianne Kopp. This was another one that I really wanted to work on. This and Ann Sandals were the two that I really wanted to work on for my March and April, and I've gotten a lot done on this. This one I'm using the Vicki Clayton Silks, which come in these little spools. Beautiful colors. Again, I have the house finished and I'm working on the border flowers and that big pot. So the grass is done, the house is done. Back to my theory of getting the hardest part or the most tedious part finished first. I always do at least the skeleton or bones of the border, and then I can hop around. Really pretty. This house color is originally supposed to be clockwork, and I think I mentioned this last time. In the original, because she has them kitted. Vicki Clayton is HDF fibers, and originally it was, I think, Kabuchka, which was a little bright, and so I have switched it to Yap Island. And she did reach out to me, and I don't know if she's going to change it for everybody, but she has an option that you can get the Yap Island, which is a little more brownish orange. And I have this one in a project bag from Christy Crosshatch Quilts. Again, she's one you have to hop on quickly so that you can get one. I love her bags as well, and her floss tube. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break and I will be right back. By the time you see this, you may actually see Bailey because she's coming to visit us for 4 or 5 days this next week. So the real Bailey may be here rather than just a picture. So anyway, next I'm going to talk a little bit about my May and June plans. Now, I've enjoyed doing this. And I've had people ask me, well, you've only mentioned Blackbird with Thy Needle and Thread and Plum Street. What about the fact that you love Stacey Nash and Kathy Barrick and Carriage House and, the list Teresa Kogut. I have some of her things I'd like to start. So it's not exclusive, and I'm just doing this to keep myself organized because sometimes I'm not a fan of doing WhipGo. Not that I've ever tried it, so I'm not criticizing anybody that has done WhipGo because I know it works for a lot of people. But, that whole bossing myself, that whole idea of, okay, what am I going to put on this, on the board. So anyway, for me, I've just decided 2 months on each of these designers works for me because those are the charts that I have a lot of. So May and June will be Plum Street. I'm going to do sampler summer. Now, will I start at mid-June? Will I start at, I don't know. I certainly know that once July 4th hits, I'm pretty much done with Americana. So that's why I did a few Brenda Gervais, and I may do some more of Brenda Gervais Americana through the end of April. Not that I couldn't do one. You know, I'm not sticking to these hard and fast rules. It's a guide. It's a guide. So anyway, sampler summer is going to be to try to finish some of my big samplers, at least get a lot of work done on them. I know Narissa Stitching Lifestyle. I love your videos always, Narissa, and I love your progress on your samplers. It's just, you are very inspiring, at least to all of us who are sampler stitchers and others, because your Christmas pieces are also wonderful. But anyway, she does August and September stash sampler starts. So she picks things from her stash. I'm going to try not to start anything new this summer as far as big reproduction samplers, but rather work on the ones that I have going. Does that make sense? Okay. So let me talk about Plum Street and sort of my tentative plans for May and June. And you'll notice too, I haven't done too much out of season. Like I could have done some Brenda Gervais things that I have whips that are out of season, but some of those are put away and I'm an in-season stitcher. So if I do this again next year, I'll switch it up. Maybe do With Thy Needle and Thread in October, or, you know, so that, or, you know, if I live that long, over the course of a couple years, I'll get a chance to touch some different seasons within that designer's realm, within the designer's cachet of stitches. Anyway, this is one I definitely want to touch. This is Winter Moon. Hopefully I'll be able to finish this one. I started this one last November, put it away after Christmas, and this is where I am on this one. Winter Moon by Plum Street. So the house is finished. I'm working on the moon. I have a headless bunny. These trees are sort of finished, but they do have extra, like, you know, there's like a garland that goes through them. I have the tree on the other side and that greenery up there. But the house, the sawtooth stars, and the fence are all finished. So I would say it's probably 3/4 finished, just a guess. This is on Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit, 40 count. So that's, now that is an out of season one because to me that's winter, but I still want to work on getting that finished. And in the same project bag, which was one I made myself, let me show you that. I'm not a fan anymore of these vinyl because I have had the pattern picture. I mean, it is Florida, it's hot, it's humid, but you know, I don't keep my stuff out. I also have Summer Moon. This was part of a retreat piece a few years ago at Country Sampler. And I don't, there's no Autumn Moon yet that Paulette has released. So it's just Summer Moon, Spring Moon, and Winter Moon. This is Spring Moon. This was originally released first, I believe, and this one was released at maybe in an Australian retreat, not sure. And I have a very, very small start on Spring Moon. Literally, I just have part of the moon finished. This one is, I think, on Baked Clay. Yeah, Baked Clay by Fox and Rabbit. I will definitely finish Winter Moon before I get back to Spring Moon. If I don't touch Spring Moon this year, that's fine. So, Winter Moon by Plum Street. And the next one that next two that I really want to finish. So Winter Moon is first. And this is perfect going into patriotic season, and that is the Heritage Sampler. There are three of these that are patriotic, and one that she's done that's, or two, I guess now, that are more fall. They're all that Rhode Island style that has the border, a big border boxed around. So this is where I am on this one. It's not huge, but I definitely would like to try to get a lot of progress on this one. Heritage Sampler, this is the threads for all of them, I think. And that is in a project bag that I got from Dying to Stitch. This was part of the 2020 retreat that was canceled because of COVID, and so we instead just got the kits. So one of them is Equality Sampler. Sorry, the glare. And that was part of the 2020 retreat piece. And then the other one that I've collected is a new constellation. Oops, upside down. No, right side up. So I have all three of these kitted, ready to go. But I definitely want to try to work on and get the Heritage one. This was the first. Get that one finished. And the last one from Plum Street that I want to work on. This is a project bag by Cross Stitch Nook. I haven't seen many of hers advertised on Instagram lately, and maybe I've just missed them. She does bigger bags, and they come with the thread bed, which I love these. Anytime I'm working on a sampler, I love to have a thread bed. You know, if you put 3 stitches in, I'm not going to throw the whole rest of the strand away. And a lot of times I will use a heat, what do they call it? Anyway, it's a pen that you can write, and then heat will take the pen marks away. I use that a lot on like finishing, like if I'm drawing a seam allowance or something, and then you press it and the marks go away. What's that called? Anyway, if you want to know, I'll let you know. But anyway, and that last one is Live on Little. I have a lot of this finished. I would love to get this done in the next, well, if I could get this done in May, it would be great. Are these the threads for this? Yes, because there's a lot of DMC on this one. This one's done on 40 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit. So the big house is done. The water's done. I'm working on the grass next to the words are done. Oh, maybe. Nope, not quite. The border and the border flowers are done. So, what did I do with the pattern? Oh, Carol. So, there's more in the verse. There's the flag. There's this little house over here. Maybe that's a church. Anyway, there's some flowers. There's some doves. So, basically, what's in here is what I need to finish. So again, most of this is done, and I just need to get the rest finished. It's beautiful. Beautiful. So those are the 3 or 4 things that I'd like to work on when I pick up Plum Street in May and June. Okay. This is a bag. I've never gotten a bag from Sherry So Sweet. I've heard different people talk about her bags. It's lovely. I really enjoyed ordering this. Quick shipping. It's a very sweet bag. I love the patchwork bags, I guess because I'm a quilter, but I love the patchwork bags. So this is also sort of in plans. I probably won't touch any of these, but it'd be nice to think I might before the end of April, or if it goes into May, who knows. This is Lady Liberty. Now we're back to With Thy Needle and Thread. This is Summer Swan. This came out last year. I got that kitted from Country Sampler. Beautiful. This is that Seasons of the Heart book. I showed you that one. What did I do with it? The spring is from this book. And I'd love to work on the patriotic one, which would be summer. Now, I didn't do the word here. I don't take the greatest care of all my stuff. So I just decided to do the border all the way around, and it does fit. So if you do decide to do that, it fits. And I have threads and linen all ready to go on that one. And the last one is, not last, but another one I'd like to do. This is another one of the boxes. This is Summer in Baltimore. And this is done on 40 count. I don't have any navy ticking, so I need to look for some navy ticking or dark blue. But I love this one too, it has the eagle. So even if I didn't get the box finished, I'd love to at least get the piece. I wonder if she has a picture of the whole thing straight on. I don't think so. No, just the chart. But you could certainly do it and frame it if you didn't want to do the box. But it doesn't have a cute box to put your sewing stuff in. I mean, come on, people. Anyway, this is Sherry So Sweet. If you want to start following her and get notified on when she has bags available. Definitely love this bag. It's kind of red, white, and blue, so that's why I put a few patriotic things in there. I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'll talk about a little bit more about some things from the retreat. I'll be right back. Okay, one of the days of the retreat, Rika, who is House of Stitch and Stash, came up for the day and she gifted me this beautiful, I didn't ask her if I could show this. I'm sorry, Rika. Anyway, she gifted me this project bag. Thank you very much, Rika. I'm sorry if you didn't want me to show that. Now I feel bad. I did get, here's one more thing I thought would be fun to start for the rest of April. I don't know if I'll get to it or not. I have the threads, and I think it's supposed to be on, yeah, Vintage Country Mocha, which I have a piece in here. I don't mind doing smalls on Vintage Country Mocha. I just don't really prefer it for a big sampler. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the retreat gifts that I got, and then a couple things that I got from Market. So I got this. I'm not going to mention a name since I'm beautiful. It's a lamb with candles. As much as we love bunnies, we know Easter's really about the lamb. I got this beautiful rifle packaged candle from the Rifle Paper Company. Beautiful. That's the kind of thing you save even after the candle has been used. This had a goodie bag with lots of goodies in it, some floss jewelry, and I love stitching. Needle minder, very fun. I got this, which was a corner gauge with some rickrack, also very fun. This wasn't from the retreat, but this was my Victorian Rose piece of seraphim. This is biscuit. Kind of has a greenish tan. It's really pretty linen. Biscuit I thought would be light, you know, like, but it's not. So anyway, there was a exchange table where you could put a pattern and take a pattern, and somebody had brought this, which was from the Schoolgirl Sewing Club in Australia, and I grabbed this one, which I love, a giant AEIOU. Margaret Bowden's work, 1802. The person that brought this had finished it. She didn't bring the finished piece, but so she had this on the giveaway table, and I was like overjoyed to be able to grab that. Not giveaway, exchange table. Then one of our friends did this. It's done on 40 count fossil by Will Die For You. I had never heard of Will Die For You linen, but she had a piece of the color fossil and it was gorgeous. But it's a chart, and it says April 2025, Dear Diary, stitching today with my circle of friends, laughing and sharing and fun all around. And then it has an alphabet. Can you see it? An alphabet, and it says my work. So this was just a chart that Elaine did and gave us. I had a lovely lady named Norma who sent me some sampler antique needlework. She sent me 5 pieces plus another chart. I didn't put the chart in here, but this she got from, they were free magazines from her local library. So she was very kind to send these to me. I don't have any of these, so that was great. Thank you, Norma. This was another, I got this as a drawing at the retreat. This is a Hands Across the Sea, Emily Ann Foster, and I love that it says God is good, God is love. I did not have that chart. And the rest of these are things I got from Market. Hop into Spring. A couple people have already finished this. I don't know if it's one I will start yet. Spring Trio, again by With Thy Needle and Thread. I didn't buy a whole lot from Market, and this can be done. I thought about doing it all in one because I thought, well, I don't have any big long frame pieces that are Easter, but this will be long enough. This will be 8 by about 4 if you do it on 36, and that's good enough to have a framed piece. So I'm not gonna I'm probably going to do these as smalls rather than the one framed long piece by stitching it all together. Does it make sense? I'm kind of rambling now. I need to go. I also got this from Tammy from Scattered Seed, which was very kind to send me this. This one is called Nesting Together Pin Keep. Beautiful. I love her like folk art birds. They're just great. I got this from Kitten Stitcher with the threads. It says Joy. This was a Market release. Most of the things I bought, I got from Country Sampler. I did get the Joy piece from directly from Kitten Stitcher. That's her design, and she had the thread packs. I just really like to support the brick and mortar. I'll order threads or whatever from online, but I'm really a fan of supporting the brick and mortar. They're the ones paying rent, and they're the ones paying the heat bill, the light bill, and insurance, and employees benefits, and all of that. So that I am a firm believer in. If you have a local needlework store, or if there's one close, or if you can do mail order from a local a brick and mortar store, that's my choice. I got this one, The Earth Laughs. I got this one from Plum Street. I might start this during my May-June. I love this Rejoice. Sean Periwinkle Stitcher. She had this kitted. I think I have most of these colors. Sometimes the ones I don't have are the DMC. I got the Tomato Sampler, also from Brenda Gervais. Plum Street. Had to get the Frog Lily. The only crackers I've done so far are Whitaker and Paisley, which are the snowmen, so I need to up my game. And then I got this one, Liberty, by With a Needle and Thread. I love that. Love that. I also got this one, Cocoa. Sean Periwinkle Stitcher had this finished, which was amazing that she's already stitched and finished it. So anyway, that was my market haul. There might be a few others along the way that I want to get, but people, I have so much now, I feel guilty even buying what I did. So not guilty, but more like, when am I ever going to get to these? You know, the era of being a spring chicken has long passed. I'm in the winter chicken era of my life. But I'm still healthy. I went to the doctor. Things are still good. I got every ache and pain you can imagine, but other than that, I'm doing well. So anyway, I hope you all are doing fine. I hope you had a nice Easter, or maybe a nice time of stitching. But Easter is a very special time, and it's one of the few miracles in life that has survived and is still surviving 2,000 years later. So thank you, Jesus. Anyway, I'm all done. I have all this stuff around me, but I think I've talked about every bit of it. The other things I have up here, this is a Blackbird piece. I showed you that during my Blackbird parade. I did I'll show you this one more thing. If I can reach it. Oh, you know when you reach too far and then you feel that little in your back. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I just stuck this in a frame. This is Ah 'Tis Spring by Not Forgotten Farm. I have wanted to maybe do this in a stand-up. I just cannot decide how I want to finish it. So for now, it's barely fits, and it's very loose. So if it was tighter, it would, if it was stretched, it wouldn't fit. So anyway, just for fun, I will take this out and do something else with it. So that's Not Forgotten Farm. Did I say that? I think that's it. Alrighty. I will see you when I see you. It'll definitely be May, so that's why I covered a few of the May things that I'm going to be working on, and hopefully I will be back sooner than later. So love you. Bye.